Everybody except Julie and Christy should be on mute, Peter. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's call. This is Verl Workman, and we're excited to be here today for an amazing call. You know, I've had an opportunity to interview a lot of great people over the years, and it's been really fun to spend some time with both Julie and Christy preparing for this call today. You have an opportunity to hear from two of the real givers in the industry, and I promise you it's going to be well worth your time today. A couple of thoughts. By the way, I'm Verl Workman. I am a speaker, trainer, and coach, the CEO and founder of Workman Success Systems, and I've been asked by RISMedia to host this series of calls with the lead agents and brokers around the country that we'll be doing each month throughout the year. So I encourage you to pay attention to the emails and to the invitations you get to the webinars. I promise you we're not going to have a bad one. Each time we're going to have specific topics and subjects that are relevant to what's going on in the market right now. Our goal is to find out what's working the best for the elite agents and brokers in the country, and then share those best practices with each of you in a desire to help you improve your business. Our goal as a company, and I speak with RISMedia, is to increase the professionalism of the real estate agent, to increase the quality of the agent, and not just the quality of the agent, but also how the consumer perceives us as an industry. We're committed to that, and we're making great strides in the process. Just a couple ground rules for today's call. You got to know everybody's on mute. It's not because we don't love you. It's just because we don't want to hear from you. We just want to hear from our panelists today. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions in your control panel for your go-to webinar. If you have a question, just click on the question button and type your questions in. I'll be monitoring the questions during the call, and I'll be able to respond to you and ask questions directly to our panelists. I also encourage you to pay really close attention to what's being said, not just the words, but also the philosophies and the thoughts that go into how these million-dollar income earners think, how they build their teams, how they, what are the values that they build their whole business around. I want you to listen carefully to the words that they say, not just the pictures that are on the slides. At the end of the presentation today, I want you to make sure you stay on, because I'm going to give you a special link where you're going to get a free gift, and the gift is going to be directly related to the content that you hear today. And I promise you, it's worth staying to get that link. The other thing I'll tell you is that you have a lot of people that are asking, will we be able to get a copy of the webinar? And the answer is absolutely. RISMedia always makes copies of the webinars available to everybody that would like a copy of that. So we'll give you the opportunity for that as well. So let's jump right in, and let me introduce our panelists. We have both Julie Timms and Christy Buck with us today. Now, I happen to be on the inside track with Julie and Christy because they're both clients of mine. I've been working with them for both of them for more than 3 years now. And so I'll give you the personal introduction. First, let me tell you about Julie Timms. Julie and her husband, Bernie, list and sell real estate in Hilton Head Island, and they're two of the finest people I've ever met. Julie and Bernie Timms have an unbelievable passion for helping and serving people, and it makes such an amazing difference in the way they run their business. Julie's been doing real estate since 1979, and ended up opening her brokerage. And after that, in '85, she opened a real estate franchise. She ran that till deep into the '90s, where she decided that the franchise model wasn't the best model for her. So she disbanded her firm, started again about the same time she met Bernie, and together they started their own independent brokerage with no agents. It's been really fun to watch them grow. Today, Julie has grown Hilton Head Island real estate brokers from one agent and an income of about $60,000 a year to 9 members of their team, and steadily increasing every single year with gross closed income of over $1 million this year, and they're on track, and I mean they're literally on track to more than double that in 2015. And what's been cool about watching the transition with Julie is been watching her increase her volume and decrease her level of stress and decrease the level of time that they spend actually working in the office. So Julie, welcome to the call.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, we're excited to talk to you. After we go through, Julie talks a little bit about her business. We're going to jump right in with Christy Buck. Christy Buck is a third-generation real estate agent. She's been around in the business for about 15 years, and she's had her own team for several of those years, and it all started when she hired her first assistant. And it's been really fun to watch Christy's growth. I remember as we first started working together, Christy, you know, her biggest challenge was actually believing that her value was much higher than she thought it was, and getting her to change her thought process. So many agents have to get out of their own way. They struggle with nobody can do it as good as me syndrome, and I can't imagine not driving every possible buyer out around and showing them houses because they really want me. So you're going to enjoy hearing from Christy. She talks about this transition that she's made over the last couple of years of working together. We started working together about 3 years ago. I'll let her tell you a little bit about the story. Her annual commission at that time was between $230,000 and $250,000. In 2014, she hit over $1 million, closing 190 units. So she's gone from 52 to 190 units, which includes homes, commercial, residential, and some leases as well. It's been really fun to watch her increase her sales price, increase her team, and build a really fun environment. She's got great people on her team that have buoyed her up, and she's become a phenomenal marketer. So let's start. And Christy, welcome to the call. I'm glad you're here. I'm excited to hear from you in just a minute.
Thank you.
All right, so let's jump right in. I know, Julie, you're ready to go. So let's talk about Julie. I asked Julie. I said, Julie, we're going to talk about business planning and what has to go into what goes through your mind when you're putting together a phenomenal business plan for 2015. And you said, you know what, Verl, there's some keys to success I got to share, because if you don't have these keys, it doesn't matter how good your business plan is. So talk to me about that.
Well, glad to, Verl. I mean, the first thing is, I don't care how good you are and how many people that you come across, unless you can connect with people, you're not going to get anywhere. So I think the first key to success in real estate is be able to connect with people, make them realize that you really understand them and want to help them. And the second thing is to surround yourself with excellent team members. I mean, I used to think I could do it all and that no one could do it better than me. And what I found is that I was working myself to death, and I realized that I could not work any harder than I was working right now, but I could work a lot smarter. And so we put together a team of just absolutely super people with the same core values as we have. A system. Having a system to work is awesome. And here they are here, and you've got to use those systems. And then lastly, love what you do and care about the people that you serve and always put them first. So those are 5 keys that I feel are my success points in real estate.
So we're going to expand on each one of these key topics. And Julie, when you talk about loving what you do, I mean, you really do love what you do, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. You know, you spend most of your life in your business. If you don't love what you do, what are you, miserable? I'm a happy person, and I love what I do.
So in the beginning of your business plan, do you start with the numbers or do you start with who you are?
I think you have to start with who you are, because the numbers don't make a difference if you can't be yourself.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Share with us what you put together as far as core values and kind of how that process worked.
Okay, well, our core values, and everybody can see them here on the screen, but those are the core of our being and the core of what we do. You've got to have a positive attitude in this business, because if you don't have a positive attitude, you're going to bring everybody down around you. And productivity. If you can't be productive, then you're never going to succeed. Upholding the highest ethical standards. I mean, we all talk about ethics, but when you live them every day and you live them, it's just people want to be around you. And having respect for yourself, for others, and for your clients is just key. I mean, I could read all of these: family first, exceptional service, commitment to all the aspects of our work, trustworthy and skillful. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to keep saying them and ingrain them into our being, and so we made them stand for perfects. So that was the anagram that we used.
I love the anagram that says our perfects, and each one of those has a really cool story behind it and how you apply that as a team. How well is your team ingrained in these core values? I mean, how important are the core values in the hiring process and in in the follow-up of what you do with your agents?
Well, first of all, everybody that works here has bought into these core values, and they not only have bought into those core values, but they live them every day. And that's what makes our team so great together, is because we all have the same core values and to serve others. And we also, whenever we talk to anybody about joining our team or joining our company, we share those core values with them, and we ask questions around those core values so that you can see, so we can see and they can see if we're all a right fit for each other.
And what if they don't? What if they don't fit your core values?
Well, if they don't fit our core values, then we aren't for them, and it just wouldn't work. And there are plenty of opportunities out there for people to build their business.
So you talk about in your core values that we're productive, that we actually do work every day. How do you measure that, and what are some of the things that you do to actually create productivity in the business?
Well, productivity in the business, a lot of times you've got to measure what you do. A lot of the people, a lot of folks in the real estate business, and hey, me for years and years, I would just come in and I would act. I would react. I wouldn't act. I would say, okay, here's a phone call. What do I do next? And I had no real focus on what to do. And so thank you, Verl, for these daily success habits. And this is just a chart that keeps us busy. We write down what we want to do every day, and we measure what we do so that we can keep up with what we should do. I've started looking at this, and at first I was like doing 20 things a day that I should have done when I'm trying to get my numbers to at least 61 things to do. And I realized where all the holes were in my day and the time vampires, if you will. So this keeps us all on track with what we're doing, that we're doing the right things to get to the right place. And it's a wonderful tool. It's kind of like, I don't know if anybody's ever been on a diet or Weight Watchers before, but when you inspect everything you put in your mouth, you tend to do a better job, and this just helps us do that.
We like to say that which gets measured gets done.
Absolutely. Track your results and inspect what you expect. Excuse me, tongue-tied there.
That's right. So jumping in, let's talk about, as you kind of went from a brokerage to a team, and that was quite a transition. As you went from a brokerage to a team, you've got this slide that says the 5 dysfunctions of a team. How many of the dysfunctions did you have in your business?
All of them. I would think every single one of them. And, in my book, a brokerage is a team. We all work together and help each other and be successful, not only successful in helping families achieve their goals, but for people to reach their own goals and be able to live and be comfortable. And it just starts with the 5 dysfunctions of a team. And you asked me to read that book, and I had a ton of aha about that team. And would you like me to kind of go through them a little bit?
Well, yeah, just let's pick that have actually made a difference in the way you run.
Well, I think the first one is that absence of trust doesn't mean I don't trust you. Absence of trust means I think I can do everything better, so I'm going to do it myself. And no one can do it better than I can do. And what I found is that I was working myself to death. And when I started trusting people, or trusting myself and trusting others to be able to do it for me, and then noticed, wow, they actually did that better than I would have done it. Actually got that done. That trust and letting people help you, that is huge. I think a lot of us call it getting out of our own way. Fear of conflict. How many times in an office you go, well, I can't tell them that because if I tell them that, they'll be mad at me, or they'll think this, that, and the other thing. When it is, if you just confront what's going on, everybody is much more productive. They're just much more productive. Lack of commitment. A lot of times as owners of brokerages or as team leaders or even yourself, you don't buy into the plan that you've made. So everybody discussing and buying into the plan, like our core values and other things that you do, everybody's on the same page, everybody is working for the same goal. Avoidance of accountability. A lot of times we don't want to look at what we're doing because we're scared we're either not doing it or we're not doing it right. And then not paying attention to your results. You just go on to the next one and go on to the next one without counting what you're doing or looking at what you're doing. And that's why I love those daily success habits so much, because I can see holes in my day, and they've really helped a great deal.
Yeah, it's really true. One of the things you brought up, and I'm just going to go back to real quick, was you talk about the fear of conflict. You can have healthy conflict. Conflict isn't a bad thing, is it?
Oh, it's an awesome thing, because a lot of times you really you perceive things one way and somebody's perceiving it completely opposite. When you talk about words, you just think different things, and when you talk to people about it, you resolve it quickly instead of tiptoeing around each other for a while.
So what kind of things do you track in your business so that you can make intelligent decisions going forward?
Well, we track everything. And it's amazing that when you start tracking and you start looking at things, you realize what you're doing and how you need to change, or if you need to change, what you're doing well or what you're not doing well. And each of us, we set goals. We set a basic goal, then we set a goal if we stretch ourselves, and then we set a dream goal, and we measure those goals every month all through the year to show what kind of fees that we're earning, how many families we're serving, and actually family servings are better. And this is a visual. What you're seeing on the screen now is a visualization of what that is. There's your goal, there's your stretch, there's the green, and then there's an actual. And you see for this this particular individual exceeded their dream goal several months and didn't even make another. So it's just a picture of what's going on, and it helps us all become a little bit more motivated.
When you do
motivated, work smarter.
So Julie, how many transactions do you do in a year?
We did 116 last year.
116 transactions, and you're in a resort market. What's your average sales price?
Average sales price is for our market is $343,879.
And what is your team's average sales price?
Oh, actually, excuse me, that was our team's.
Your market isn't that high.
That was, and the average for Hilton Head is $336,265.
I know your numbers.
Yeah, well, you've got to know your numbers. In this lead source tracking, we track everything. Where did that, and I don't like to say lead, where did that person we were able to help come from? And we track the sales volume by each source. So just looking at this right now, I can see, well, nothing came from some places, newspaper, radio, and some of these other sites, and then I can see the ones that are working really well and the ones that aren't working as well.
Do you have a particular, you do a lot of different kinds of advertising and marketing and driving business to websites and all these different things that you do. What's your marketing budget versus would you say other teams? I mean, how much do you spend on marketing?
We spend well over $100,000 in lead generations on our websites, which is where the majority of our people that we can help come from. You can see it right there.
That's a big number for a lot of people. You spend a lot of money. You can see that a huge amount of business comes from that. The other thing I think is really interesting is that when you say you spend $100,000, you also have lenders that participate in your marketing. Talk to me a little bit about that and how you track it.
Well, how we track lenders is here's an example of where all the financing comes from the different sources, and we can see how many people each of the lenders serve, as well as how many cash, how many are listings, and we're have some lending partners that are helping with the advertising budget, because these leads come, to them, and they can actually see how much they're earning from our efforts.
I can't believe you got 28% of people pay cash in your market.
Welcome to my world. No, there a lot of people do pay cash because they don't want the stress of debt, and then other people do. So.
That's awesome. All right, so let's talk about lead tracking for just a minute. You have leads that come in from all these different sources, talking about how you track them, and then what the incubation time is. One of the things that we talk about, and you hear a lot of all these lead systems, you have Tiger Leads, Boomtown, Commissions, Engage and Jet. I've got all these lead sources, and everybody has these numbers and percentages of how long it takes to close deals. One of the things that you guys started tracking was how long it takes to close a lead, what your shortest time and what your longest time is. Explain this chart and what you've learned from it.
Well, what we've learned from this is we just track it. As you can see, we have the source date was when the person first was introduced to one of our sites and the date that it closed. Now, understand that we're a resort market, and so we're a market where people take their time to make decisions. They're not they're looking for the future, and so we started tracking this to say how long actually does it take, and our average days to close for the leads are somewhere, it's 459. Well, of course, the average between freezing and boiling won't tell you anything about either one. So we look a little further than that, and we look the mean. So the mean number is a little bit under a year at 272 days, and the greatest number of days for anybody that was on the site before they closed was 2,087 days, and the least amount of days were 42 days from when they logged on to when they closed their transaction.
Okay, so I see the 2,087 days. What is that, 5 years, 4 years, 6 years?
It's a good while. It's a good while. And
well, I got to ask you, after 2,087 days, how big a house did they buy? What was the sale price on that one?
It was in excess of $2 million.
I mean, was it worth following up with someone for 6 years for a $2 million sale?
Yeah, of course it was worth following up with it. Not only that, it was such a joy to see them finally meet their goals and have their dreams come true, and they're happy and they've become good friends, and that's really what it's all about. The bottom line takes care of itself.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I want to see if I can get my slide to advance here. It's stuck. There you go. So Julie, when we first started working together, we had some brand confusion. Talk to me about rebranding and how you position yourself to the consumer that will allow you to have a relationship with them for 2,000 days.
Well, I think one of the things to allow us to have a relationship for 2,000 days is, or even more in some cases, what time will tell on that, is because we've connected with them so well and we've given them exactly what they need to make a good decision when they're ready to make the decision. And when you were with us, first started talking, we did have brand confusion because I had a name change in my life and no one knew who I was. So what we did is you suggested Robert Allen Paul, who is wonderful, by the way, and he branded our company. And what he did is he interviewed our clients, and he came back and he said, Julie, you have a problem. And I said, what's our problem, Robert? And he said, you do everything that everybody says that they're going to do, but they never do. So if we brand yourself saying, well, we're going to do all these services, people are going to go, yeah, 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 here's another person telling what we're going to do. So what he said is, but the common theme that came through is that you always put your client first, and you put them in the perfect place. And the perfect place is not only the perfect property, but they knew they bought the right property. They knew they were paying the right thing. They had a perfect experience all the way through the transaction, and they're still happy when it's done, and that we always told them what they needed to hear, even though they didn't know they needed to hear it, and some other things. So that's it in a nutshell.
Well, that brand confuse definitely has gone away, and it's been fun to watch your business grow. Let me just ask you a few questions that have come from the group. Brad wanted to know how much of your business comes from listing sites versus buy sites.
The listing side, we really weren't concentrating too hard on the listing side at first when we were coming out in 2008 because a lot of sellers were upside down and they just weren't able to sell their property. Now our listing side is about 33% and it is growing because we are really starting to focus on those listings simply because it's time for some of these sellers to be able to move on and not be upside down anymore. But it started mostly with buyers, and now it's moving, and what we're trying to do is move towards 50-50.
Yeah, we have a very strong focus on that, don't we, this year?
We do indeed.
Another question was, real quick here, let's see. Some of these are just comments. They can't see a chart. Oh, this is a good one. What system do you use for your lead tracking?
My husband Bernie created it with the help of a fellow named Stan Schreier that you recommended. Stan wrote our basic program, and then my husband Bernie went through and made it to us. So this is a proprietary one that we just did because we wanted to know what we wanted to know, and then we figured out how to make it reported. So
yeah, the cool thing about it, it's all done in Google Drive.
Yeah, we did that in Google Drive. Well, that's sort of above my pay grade. You probably have to interview Bernie to find out how that happened. I just look at it and know what it says.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One last question. What do you use for contact management?
I use Top Producer. Top Producer is the best one that I found, but you know the best one to use is the one you know how to use. But Top Producer for me has just been fine.
Julie, will you stay with us for a little bit? We're going to introduce Christy and let her go through some of the things she's doing, and then I'm sure we'll have questions for both of you as we get towards the end. Can you hang with us?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome information. Christy, I know you're chomping at the bit and just kind of hanging out with us as we've gone through some of the things Julie did. Tell us a little bit about kind of where you are as a business and where you want to go going forward.
Well, can I go backwards a little bit first?
You can, yes, you can do anything you want. You're in charge.
Okay. When we, I guess being in the business 14, 15 years, we were stuck at a production level. At RE/MAX, everything is based on, you know, production commission. So we would go to awards every year, and we would stay at that 250. We always made 230, 250, and we met Verl. Of course, we met you in one of those conferences as a speaker. And Samantha and I, my office manager of 8 years, knew that we needed to do something different because we were just stuck at that. But we were busy doing transactions, not helping families. We would do a transaction, close the transaction, and be worried about where the next transaction was coming from. So when we met you, felt like we maybe financially couldn't afford a coach and decided to take the plunge and do it anyway. You really taught us how to run a business, and I feel like that's what we're doing now rather than transactions. We're running a company, and you have taken, I mean, I guess you're on that screen where we wanted to be the first year we hired you, and then where we ended up so quickly. So our goal within 5 years was to reach 1 million, and we started out helping 50 families at around 250, and the first year we went to 350, and then the second year, really, I believe, or maybe third year, we, okay, so then 12, 565, and then this year was, I believe, 1.1 million, helping 190 families. So really learning systems, processes, and not just transactions was a huge help of everything that you've given us and supplied us with to help grow our business rather than just have closings.
I love that, Christy. What's fun about this slide right here is this is an actual screenshot of your original business plan, the very first one we did, where you put your 5-year goal to produce $1 million.
Correct.
And that's the actual business plan that you use. I'm going to go up a couple of slides, actually, because I jumped ahead on you for a second.
Okay.
Probably. Let me go the right direction here. All right, so talk about your business right now, what it looks like right now, and the pillars of income.
What we were trying to do, of course we had to figure out what we were going to do to take it from the 1 million to doubling our income, or at least getting to 300 units this year. That's our goal. So we had to focus on what we are going to do. As you've taught us, what are your pillars to get there? You can't just know that that's where you want to be, but what are we going to do to get there? And we're going to do more geo-farming, work more on our relationships, which we do a pretty good job of as it is, staying in contact. But when we put in our CRM, our top producer, that has helped us tremendously stay in touch with past clients because it reminds us everything to do. And then this year our goal, of course, is to get in with more new home builders as their preferred realtor, and to open maybe a relocation department and find out how to get more relos. Relos are usually higher end corporate people transferring, so those are our goals this year. And then we have one agent. When we, of course, hired you 3 years ago, I really knew that nobody could do it like me. I would not consider a buyer's agent until you pushed for quite some time, and now I have 4 buyer's agents, and I haven't really worked a weekend or many evenings in a year, and they can all do it just as good as I can, and when they have questions, they call me right away. One of our buyer's agents retired from the city of Friendswood, planning and zoning, so she is excellent in the commercial side of things, knowing what has to take place, you know, when you need to do commercial. So our goal is to increase her on the commercial site, and relos, builders, geo-farming, and continue to work hard on our relationships and referrals.
So, you know, you went through a lot of information in a really short period of time right there, Christy. And what people don't really realize is how emotional it was for you to go from that "nobody can do it as good as me" perspective to actually trusting someone to work with your trusted friends that you've worked with all those years. How did you get past it?
And which is all the training that you've taught us, and all the scripts and dialogues, and making sure that when I send them out there, you know, we have a brand new agent right now, and he's getting a little restless because he's ready to go, and when I script and dialogue with him, it shows him that he's really not ready to go. So everything that you have taught me to make sure that my buyer's agents are well trained, and as we have in our team agreements, that they always emphasize that Christy's very involved with every transaction, and she's away at any time. But it has, you know, we have 4 buyer's agents now, and we could have more. And it's a huge help when you break away from feeling like no one can do it but me, because you tie your own hands and you can't move forward, you can't grow if you think that you can show, list, negotiate, prospect, do everything it takes to continue to grow, have all your systems in place. So we've really hired a lot of people and put a lot of systems in place, and a top producer being one of them. And we were very resistant on top producer. Actually, we put it in place, decided we hated it, took it away, realized that we still weren't doing what we needed to be doing without that, so put it back in place, and now we absolutely love it. It's learning it, and then it's basically your to-do list every single day, and it doesn't let anything slip through the cracks as long as you put your, you know, work it right, work it correct.
Kind of went from being something that as a team, you guys, I've never had a team in all my years of coaching push back like you did on implementing a contact manager. Why do you think the resistance was so harsh?
The learning curve. Just you get in your habits of how you do things, and this is how I process a file, and it was comfortable, and trying to learn top producer while we were in the middle of closing so many files, it was very overwhelming. But once you take the time to watch the videos, top producer, they're so helpful when you get on the 800 number and teach you. It's helped us. We put a client in, we apply an action plan, and it tells you every single thing to do for that client. You don't have to say, did those inspections happen? Did this happen? Or it's on your to-do list every day, and then when you apply the action plan, our processor checks off each one of her to-dos all the way down to closing and putting them on the aftermarket campaign, staying in touch with them for 10 years, putting them on Market Snapshot, doing all the things that keep us in their face and asking for referrals. So it was a pushback because it was such a learning curve, but now all it's doing is allowing us to expand and grow.
So you've talked about a lot of different things that you use. Maybe expand a little bit for me on, the lead tracking. Julie talked about lead tracking, how important it was to track every lead from every source. You do the same thing. How has that helped you make decisions going forward, and how do you get everybody, you've got 4 buyers agents now, how do you get everybody to follow the process?
Well, they have to. They have a lead phone, and they put every person in lead tracker that you provided us, and they have like 2 days on the phone where they take the lead phone and it's theirs. Before they can hand the phone over, every contact that came in has to be in lead tracker, and then we have the system from tracker to top producer. If they've made contact, so forth, they go into top producer. But tracking every single lead and where it came from is huge. That way, I guess the best point you've made to us recently when you were in Houston was, we have so much marketing that people here, we had the tracking tab, I see you everywhere, and Verl made a great point this year. Is that a billboard? Is that a wrapped company car? Is that koozies at the restaurants? I see you everywhere, because at the end of the year we have to be able to track where our clients came from so we know where to spend our marketing budget, so where to reinvest. Therefore, we now do not allow I see you everywhere. We have to say, where is everywhere? Is that yard signs, a car? And like you taught us, we may have 200 clients but 400 sources on where they came from, because some of them may be more than one source rather than I see you everywhere. But we track every single client that comes in on how they contacted us, and that all goes into tracker, and then when they're time to go into top producer, it also follows over to top producer.
So, a question that I hear a lot is when you start to build a team, and all of a sudden you've done $1 million in gross closed income, but now you've got 5 people on the team. Are you more profitable as a team than you were as an individual agent? That's a really important question.
Absolutely, I think you are, as long as you keep control of all of your, what your team members are responsible for paying, and make sure they understand the value in their commission split that we're paying for all the marketing. But I independently could absolutely never produce what we're producing now, and we're still on a commission split with every single one of our buyer's agents. So I have 4 buyer's agents out showing, so absolutely I'm more profitable because I couldn't be in 4 places at once, as well as listing and running a business. So a ton of those leads would go unnurtured if it was only me, where we're getting to produce 4 times the amount on a commission split. So of course I still am retaining a percentage of 4 times as many people producing.
That's a really interesting and important point. And so a lot of people think, Christy, that when they hire team members, what happens is the quality of service goes down and they end up babysitting or having to work more. So I want you to address those 2 points, and also how do you find good people? You've got some great people on your team.
I do have an excellent team. I will start out with the first question you asked, which is, I think a lot of agents are scared to sell the team concept, and I think how you sell your team concept is extremely important. And the way I went on a $500,000 listing night before last, and I told, basically let the seller know, this is, I have the slide that I don't think we've been to meet my team, and I explained to her, you can have 4 of us working for you rather than 1. If you have 1 agent, if I'm out in the field showing and offers or listing and offers come in on your home, it's going to sit in the computer for hours, maybe till tomorrow. And the way that I've structured my team is you have Samantha, my office manager, which will call you and present all the listings to you. She's been with me 8 years. She completes my thoughts. She will start the negotiation process, and I am there at the end of the day to help with anything that she needs. And Leslie is our transaction coordinator. If I'm out on listing appointments as I am now, then I get a call on your survey, your inspections, your appraisal, negotiations. We don't want any of those details to wait. We want everything addressed immediately. That's why our core values are outstanding, because we want to provide outstanding service, which does not mean one agent waiting to try to do 4 people's jobs. We have somebody to expedite each process of your transaction in a timely manner. When you have one agent, they can't possibly do as well as all of us staying on top of all the details all the time.
Well said. Tell me about how you find good people.
Finding good people is a little more of a struggle, but you've helped us do all of that as well. In the beginning, we would just say, they have a license, would y'all want to work on our team? And learned that was horrible. With your help in interviewing them, putting them through a personality profile, we put all of, like you told us, put everything you need out there, and all of your applicants may not have it, but with our personality profile that you assist us with, it helps us know that we're hiring the right person, the right personality for the correct position. And I don't know if we have time, but Michelle was a perfect example. We hired her to be our transaction coordinator. We were about to let her go because every file, it was a mess. The details were a mess. And the same week we were going to let her go, she asked if she could be a buyer's agent. And she and Mona have been here a full year, and they are excellent buyer's agents. She is an amazing buyer's agent, but was absolutely horrible with detail. So what you've taught us in the personality profiling, interviewing, making sure they live by our core values, but we put ads on like Indeed or Monster, and they have to talk to Leslie, our transaction coordinator, and if Leslie feels like they can make it to Samantha, then they will visit with Samantha. And after Samantha, if she feels like they're a good candidate and their personality profile references application, no job hopping, all the things that we need. It doesn't have to be somebody with real estate experience. It's tough if they don't have it, but we can make it through it if they look like quick learners and have everything else we need.
You know, I went off that previous slide really fast, but the other position that I think you have that is, hang on, I'm trying to get my slide to go back up for a second. Sorry, it's going the wrong. It will go up and not down. That drives me crazy. Sorry, Christy. There you go. I want to get back to this slide right here that has your team. You have a new position. Somebody asked this question, and it ties into this new position. Tell me about an inside salesperson.
Jose is inside sales, so all of our leads that come in and go into Lead Tracker, the agent that gets that call, of course she tries to work it, and after they do not respond or slow to respond, then, and the agent gets busy, she changes it to a Team C lead. And then Jose works like all of our Zillow leads, all of our Land Voice leads, and then all team leads. That way he can start, he's inside all day, every day, and he's working leads. So clearly the buyer's agents get busy showing, and we don't want leads to go a week untouched. So Jose will email. We have different campaigns set up that they get letters through Top Producer, emails through Top Producer, as well as a phone call or a text with him touching base, trying to see what we can do to help them, and then he assigns them to whoever's on leads that day or whoever has time once they respond. So we just want somebody, when your buyer's agents get busy, there's still 100, 200, 300, 400 leads that still need to be nurtured. They could be 6 months, a year out, and we don't want to lose track of them.
I think it's awesome, and that's been a critical hire. Real quick, take us through. There's 2 slides for marketing strategies. Can you kind of take us through some of the highlights of what you do from a marketing perspective to drive the number of leads that you're getting to keep everybody so busy?
Sure, we do a lot of marketing. Again, hugely have built a name in the community over 14 years, but we have a couple of billboards. We have wrapped cars. We stay involved in the community. I do a client appreciation at a local restaurant that has a patio out back. We have a band. We, of course, go on stage, invite all of our past clients for the past 3 or 4 years, where me and my loan officer, whoever, pays for this event, maybe $1,000, $1,500, so everybody pays for $500, has everybody out for the day, appreciate their business, and we at least generate several more leads off of this, because people say, oh, my old neighbor, blah, blah, blah. So we do 1 or 2 client appreciations a year. We do the breast cancer walk, inviting all of our clients to join us on the breast cancer walk, raise money for a good cause while networking. In Christmas time, we do pictures with Santa that we provide for free. Of course, we get our lender, title, whoever can help us pay for that. We pay for Santa to come. The police stopped by, took their picture with Santa, have cookies and pictures with Santa, and that's for all of our past clients. And then we just put it out there for the community, whoever wants to come. That probably cost about $1,500 this year. We do pies at Thanksgiving, just different things that we can keep our past clients coming back to see us so that we just didn't forget about them. Like many businesses, they get repeat business every month or every week. We get repeat business every 3 to 5 years. So we have to stay in their face so that 5 years from now they remember that we've given them pies, we've taken pictures with Santa, we've done the things to stay involved with them, and they know to call us when they're ready to go again. Or referrals, of course.
Tell me about the wrapped cars. Who owns these and who drives them?
I buy all of them for all of my buyer's agents, and all of the buyer's agents drive them. When we released one of our buyer's agents, we had an extra one, so our transaction coordinator started driving one, and I made the decision not to take it from her because it worked out well for her family that she had an extra car at that time. So we have all buyer's agents and my transaction coordinator driving them. So we have 4 now, soon to have 5.
Tell me about the return on investment. Give me a little bit of the business model behind this.
I just think it's a moving billboard, and we hear all of the time, I saw your sign in the yard, then I saw one of the cars. And then we added I don't know if you can see it, these pictures are old, we added a snap, an iPhone on it. They put on after the wrap was done that said, snap and save for your records, because oftentimes, just to remind people, just grab your cell phone, take a picture of it, and you'll have my number. So they're huge. They're all over town. We did the Christmas parade with all the wrapped cars and the town Christmas parade. So I think return on the investment, we can't go wrong there at all. Kia Souls aren't extremely expensive cars, and I have all of the cars for probably less than what you would have a billboard for.
So how much is the car? Do you lease them? Do you buy them?
I buy them, and with the wrap, probably have about an $18,000 investment in each car. The wrap is about $2,000. I believe the cars were about 16 drive out.
What's funny, Christy, is one of my buyer's agents is asking these questions.
Oh, okay, okay.
They're like, okay, Verl's going to get me a car.
Yeah, I buy them, and they pay the insurance. They have to maintain them. They have to keep them clean. They have to pay inspection, all the maintenance with the car, tires. They're responsible for taking care of the car, and I pay for the car.
Awesome. So who does listings on your team?
I do all the listings still. That is probably next as far as a listing partner, but I enjoy doing my listings, and I don't want completely out of being in touch with my clients. So I know that Verl has pushed me very hard to get a listing partner, but it's something I enjoy. I guess I understand I'd probably need to get a listing partner, but I really enjoy I miss working buyers, and I still work some from time to time, but I enjoy that contact with my clients, so I'm still working all my listings.
I never want you to stop doing what you love.
Yeah, and I love my listings, and I love my clients. So I know I need to move to just the CEO, but I don't want to lose some contact with clients. So at this point, I'm still working all my listings.
That's awesome. All right, somebody wants to know what a pop buy is. Pop
buys are where we create something to take to the client, like Christmas.
It's totally a Brian Buffiniism, and give Brian credit for it. It's a great idea.
Yeah, all of my team members that produce are required to do 5 pop buys a week. So it doesn't have to be expensive, but it's just something that they pop by a client in the evening and say, you know, here's a poinsettia, Merry Christmas, and it creates conversation. So it's a, you know, Halloween, we'll go boo people, if you know what that means. Easter, we'll go do Easter eggs in their yard full of candy. Just different things that the Christy Buck team is always, you know, staying involved with us personally. We may drop a candle off, and, you know, just different ideas. We have you can just Pinterest and different ideas. We'll drop off an ice cream scoop with a note that says, call us for the most recent scoop on real estate. We have all kinds of ideas that we do for pop buys, but each agent has to do 5 a week, and we make them turn that in with their 20 note cards that we expect a week, that they've done 5 pop buys a week, and it can be, you know, $2 or $3, but it hugely helps.
I have a ton of questions coming in for both you and Julie. Do you recognize this? What's this? Do you recognize this on the screen? Is your business plan?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, our business plan.
Yeah, this is the business plan template that we started with and we continue to use today. It's all of the pages that you go through. How important has this become as far as a tool goes in your business planning?
Huge. We have to, and when we were first given it, we were so overwhelmed. But I would say the biggest part of coaching is we're learning that we're running a business, not just closing transactions. And doing all this paperwork that felt so overwhelming is the whole foundation of our business and what we're doing now. And just having everybody needs a Samantha. You know, Samantha's been with me 8 years, and she really helps to keep us. She's our glue, and she helped us get through all of this. And you have to have it. There's no building a house without the foundation.
As we get ready to go into questions for everybody, I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna ask a bunch of questions. There are a lot of them. I want everyone to write this website down. It's workmansuccess.com. If you'll go there and just click on the free instant access to your business plan, I'll give you all the exact copy of the business plan that I use with both Julie and with Christy in building out their business plans every single year. And it's the real deal. It's every page that we use when we fill out a business plan. So you're welcome to it. We want to give that to you just for being on the call today and let you know we appreciate you being here. And so everybody can have access to that. And there's also a second bonus gift where if you'd like to have somebody come in and analyze where you are in your business right now and actually take a look at whether or not we believe we can help you get to the next level, sign up for a free business analysis. There's no cost or obligation. There certainly isn't any sales pitch there. We're not a company that looks for a lot of coaching clients. We're very careful in who we choose to work with. And if there's an opportunity for us to work together, then we'd love to have a chance to meet with you. Let me just go in, and Julie, you still with me? I'm going to ask both of you some questions. Julie, one of the things I'd like to ask you is how do you find good people? You're in a market where people don't really have to work.
Well, yeah, you're right. Some do, some don't. Usually people come to us. We find people that we've worked with in certain transactions, and we're a good fit, and just look around. It seems like people appear. We don't actively recruit. We don't want to get too big or too unwieldy, and we just want to make sure that people that work with us share our vision and our core values of helping families and helping people reach their goals rather than having commission breath, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Christy, what's been your best source for recruiting? Is there one thing that you can say has been the best place where you found good people?
Say it again. Probably relation.
What's been your best source for finding a good people?
Probably just relationships, asking around, trying to find somebody that knows somebody.
That is, you know what, in the how to find good people, that is the #1 best way. It's your lending partners, it's your mortgage, it's your mortgage, your title, your inspectors. They all work with agents who are good people, but they don't perform at the level that they believe they're capable of, and being on a team might be the perfect fit. The other thing I wanted to mention to both of you is if there's a lot of questions about lead generation. What would you say is your best lead source, Christy? And then Julie, and we know yours was your website. So Christy, what's your best lead source? You have lots of marketing stuff going on.
Referrals, and I see you everywhere, so probably all of my marketing as a whole, but referrals and website.
Yeah, okay. So it's internet leads and referrals. And how much of your business is listings versus buyers?
Listings, last year we had 89 listings, 21 leases, 3 commercial deals, 74 buyer sides, and 5 agent referrals. We want to work on getting agent referrals up this year as well.
From outside the business. Well, you've met a whole bunch of new agents today. Tell us what market you're in, Christy, and then Julie, I'd like you to tell us what market you're in as well, so everyone's really clear on if they have people moving to those areas. You've got a couple superstars that are willing to take care of your clients.
We are in the Houston area, so Pearland, Friendswood, Clear Lake, Galveston, the whole Houston area. Michelle was showing in Tomball, which is an hour away, so we're pretty much in the entire Houston, Texas area.
And Julie?
We're located in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, which is the southernmost part of South Carolina, and we help people in Hilton Head and the mainland of Bluffton, South Carolina, Okatee, South Carolina, and occasionally Defusky Island for those folks that want to live remotely on an island with no bridge.
I want to go there. That sounds like a cool place, actually.
It's awesome.
Hey, Julie, Mark asked this question. He said, how did you take the first step from just you to going to you and adding a team member? What's your first hire?
My first hire was that when I found myself trying to show 8 buyers a day, I said, Uncle, I can't do this anymore. And the gal that came with us was a good friend, and we hired her, and then we just grew from there, and it was all word of mouth of people who wanted to come work with us that shared our core values, and it's pretty much been all word of mouth and people who have come to us, not really going out and recruiting folks.
Christy, for you, how did you get from that? I mean, we talked about it a little bit during your presentation, but the whole mindset of allowing somebody else to join you and provide service to your friends. How did you get past it? How did you get that first buyer's agent to say? How did you get to the point where you had to say, okay?
Well, because I knew I couldn't keep doing all of it, and I was losing clients, and I was not putting my family first. I was just work, work, work. So I would say if you're an independent agent with nobody at all, I say that somebody in the office is more important. I would say both. I don't know, Verl. I would say buyer's agent and somebody in the office at the same time to be able to do and implement everything that we do, because a buyer's agent is going to free you up so much. But just you believing in what having a buyer's agent, explaining, and I say in the beginning I was so scared, I would just say they're just turning keys and helping you find the house. I will be the one, negotiating, because that was I was scared to let them think that buyer's agent was doing it all. I was scared I was going to lose them. So, I would say first just believing in having that person so you could easily sell it. And then I say office. There's so much in the office that you can't run a business if you don't have somebody in the office running the business.
That's so true. That's so true. Okay, so a lot of people are asking questions that are great coach questions, and so if you have questions about who to hire, when to hire, how to compensate your team, when you go to the landing page to sign up for the free business plan, schedule a consult, and we'll talk to you about where you are in your business and give you recommendations. We'll help you with that mindset, whether you're a client or not. I promise that when you go through a business consult with us, we'll leave you with some ideas of things that will help you going forward so that when you're ready, you'll at least consider us as an option. We're already out of time. Dang, I have so many more questions I want to ask you. A lot of people are asking about the lead tracker. Christy, you used the basic lead tracker that we gave you early on in coaching with Google Drive. Julie took that and put it on steroids and actually invested in having somebody create a customized proprietary thing that tracks everything from leads to individual agent production to their goal setting and whether or not they're on track. The secret there is not what system do you use, it's what things do I track and how do I make my decisions based on what I track. Not the program. There's lots of different programs and products that are out there, and you guys both know, you've seen so many of them. If there was one piece of advice you could give agents today that are listening to this call, Julie, going forward, that are ready to go to the next level, what would that advice be? And I'll ask Christy the same thing, and then we'll wrap.
The advice that I would give is get a system and work your system. Have your CRM, top producer, learn your scripts, have listing plans, closing plans, and have good habits and measure what you inspect. And it's really hard to be a part-time agent. You need to be committed and go full tilt boogie towards anything you do.
And Christy, what would your one thing be, your piece of advice you would give to the almost 800 people that are on this call?
I guess my biggest advice was when you think you can't afford coaching and afford not to have it, if you don't have the money to be a business person and a salesperson. I always thought I can't afford it. You know, it was too scary to take that step. And I now see that how many years I lost by it so much sooner. Clearly God has a plan, because you and I wouldn't have been 10 years ago, but I just say you can't afford not to do it, because you're limiting yourself if you don't basically hire the people who are top producer. You've put all those systems in place that have made us successful. We had none of them in place, none of it. So we use your lead tracker, but we tweaked it this year and kind of narrowed some of it down so it wasn't so, so just that what works for our team. So all of the things that you provided us, which was top producer, lead tracker, all the systems, everything you've provided us is what's got us where we are now. We would not be here.
Well, thank you, and I have to tell you that it's been an honor and a privilege to work with both of you, and I'm so proud of all you've accomplished. And more than what you've accomplished in your business, I'm proud of the individuals that you are, and it's been a pleasure to work with both of you. And I think that it's amazing that you're able to do so many great things, touch so many lives, and help so many people. And thank you for sharing with all of us. On behalf of RISMedia, who hosted this call and invited all their friends to it, thank you for being here. Christy and Julie, to your success and an unbelievable 2015. Thanks again for all you do, and thanks for sharing with the group today.
Thank you.